The Wi-Fi is... Looks like we're all set. Hey there, everyone. Steve here at Matt and Mike's X-Files CCG, filling in for Matt and Mike. We are continuing our coverage of the 2024 X-Files CCG virtual tournament, and we have thus far wrapped up 17 of our 21 pre-playoff regular season games. So we got 5 more to go, and we're going to be knocking out 2 of those remaining 5 today. And we have 2 contenders waiting in the wings right now to wrap up some of their matchups. We have actually first one is, let me see, I'm gonna get Paul out here, because Paul, who actually played earlier this morning, did enjoy a victory. So his record is currently 1-1. Paul, hailing from Connecticut, you are, as I said, you're 1-1 at this point. This is your 3rd and final round for the pre-playoff season. How are we doing, sir? What are you feeling? What are your thoughts thus far?
Oh, I'm still so tired from the last game. David gave me such a fight that I needed to go take a nap when we were done. I had to change my shirt and everything. I'm ready for this one though. Hopefully Matt and I are gonna have a good game. He'll kill me nice and quick, and then we can all have a beer and some cake.
And actually, yeah, Matt being the brewery man, he can provide us with the suds. And as I just said, Matt, who is your opponent for this matchup, is hailing from Connecticut. Matt currently has a record of 0-1. He's got 2 games to wrap up in the pre-playoffs, so there's plenty of opportunity there for Matt to etch out a win. Matt, welcome aboard, sir. Good to see you.
Hi. How are things?
Very well. And as I just said, yeah, you being the brewery guy, so yeah, you're kicking back on one right now. Well, it is after 5, so is it after your mountain time? So actually, it's 4 o'clock where you are, isn't it?
Yeah, it's only 4 o'clock here, but it's fine.
It's all good.
It's after 5 somewhere.
Right?
Yes, it is. Okay, gentlemen. So you guys are good to go, and you guys have both sent me your hidden X file. I'll be waiting in the wings. You can call me out if you have any questions that you need addressing. And name of the game, as it always has been, be the first to identify your opponent's hidden X file. 41 possibilities to choose from. Winner is the first one who gets there. Any questions, gentlemen, before I head to the back?
No, all good.
All right, so make sure to introduce your agents before you get the game going, and have a great game.
Okay. Matt, I'm super old school, so I'm representing my res with dice.
Same.
I'm going to introduce my agents to you. I'm going to check them off online. Hey, welcome back. Euro-friendly viewing times, yeah.
That's a good thing.
So we'll get this rolling. I've got Agent Krychek on my team.
Okay.
I've got a super glare here. I apologize. So if anytime you need me to read anything or anything like that, just let me know. Double header, yeah. So yeah, Krychek. I've got Agent Patterson. I've got Agent Danny Pendrell, and I've got Fred Niemhauser.
Okay.
And then who do we have for you?
I'm running Mulder, Skinner, Lucy Kasdan,
okay,
and Kosef, Agent Karen Kosef, the counselor.
Okay, Skinner and Karen Kosef.
Oh, I didn't know that. Awesome.
I'm using this website here and getting to see all the stats on the team. Matt, Steven, do you have the link to the website that you could throw up there for everybody so they can see what I see? Is it Juiced site or Used site? It's very convenient for looking at stats of an opposing team. It's also great for deck building. So if people want to check that out, that site is amazing.
Is it the X-Files CCG site?
Yeah, it's mandalorn.github.io/xfiles.
Oh,
he can throw it up there so that everybody can. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, everybody should check that site out. That site is awesome. It has So many cool resources. So I'm going to actually even use their checklist that's on that site to keep track of your X file. And then the questions you ask me, I'm going to keep track of old school on paper.
Yeah, I just got my old school.
Yep.
It's laminated, but it's.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I haven't done that. I should do that. My stacks are running a little thin. How would you like to decide who goes first? Roll dice?
Sure.
Okay. Even odds? D6?
Odd.
What would you like? It is odd. Would you like
I'll go
to be
first.
the investigating player? Okay. We'll each draw 7.
1, 2, 6, 7, and then 8 to start, or my first one.
Yep. And good luck and play well.
You too. All right. The last game, I ran into an issue where I just didn't. My deck wasn't shuffled.
Ah.
I just kept pulling the same cards over and over and over and over. So, all right. Begin off with briefing, obviously. Res. So Mulder has 2. Skinner, since he's in the bureau, has 3. So that's 5. Kazan produces 1, 6. Kosif is 1, so that's 7. So that takes me to 12. Right. And then I have to use 2 for Mulder to pick up, but I'll wait until we do that.
What you just created your resource point, so now you have the option to buy cards.
Correct. So I will.
We will make it happen, Alistair. We will make it happen.
I'm just gonna take the 2 from that Mulder's
Okay.
team effect. So that puts me back down to 10. So I'm just gonna draw 2.
Draw 2. Okay.
Okay.
Am I good to go to sell cards?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to sell. I'm going to sell a running gun battle for 3.
Okay.
I'm going to go to 8 in the conspiracy pool. And I am going to buy 2 cards. So I'm going to go to 6. Am I good to buy the cards?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Draw my 2. And proceed for you with your turn.
Okay. So let's see here. I am going to play. Oh,
The dark only would probably be the worst format ever.
You're talking the dark, the
OG, the dark.
Yeah,
that would probably be the worst format.
Is that the expansion set, the dark?
Yeah.
Yeah. That and Fallen Empires are bad.
I'll actually tell you that one of the best drafts that I ever did was a 6-pack draft of Fallen Empires Homelands.
Okay.
So you draft 2 Fallen Empires and then a pack of Homelands, and then a Fallen Empire, and just switch. The decks were so terrible across the board, but it was so much fun. Serrated Arrows was MVP. Look up that card and you will laugh at how great that card was.
I talked to Steven about it. I played a long time ago. I started in Unlimited and
totally
went through probably Fallen Empires, and then I was done. And I ended up selling all my cards, which was a bad idea.
Oh yeah.
But I still have some, but
very cool.
All right. Anyways, sorry. Back to matter
No,
at hand.
yeah.
I'm gonna pay 3 to play a witness. That is correct, right? I can do that right now. So
Yep.
I'm gonna play Kristen Kalar.
Did you wanna are we still in the briefing phase, or did you wanna go past that for playing this card?
So it's healing.
You can still play it in the briefing phase. If
I
like.
can. I'm just gonna play it now then, if that's fine.
Yeah.
So Kristen Kalar is add 1 res to your sorry, I'm bad with this. The blue. What's the blue one? Not conspiracy.
That's the resource points.
RP.
Yep.
Add 1 RP every time a keyword occult investigation or criminal investigation card is played.
Okay.
So that takes me down to 7. I don't have any healing. I don't have any requisition. So now it's deployment.
Yep.
I am going to play. Sorry, I'm super slow here.
You're good. Take your time.
I'm going to so this is deployment. So this is moving agents into the field, correct?
Yep. You can move into the field. If you had agents in the hospital, you could move them to the field or to the bureau if you wanted.
Okay. So I'm going to move Kosef and Mulder into the field.
Okay.
And then, so now case assignment. I'm going to play Browning, Montana. That's a site, mono, motive, occult investigation. Prereq is occult 4+, and you can ask a motive question.
Okay.
And Mulder, or I'm sorry, never mind. That's 2. So that takes me down to 5.
Okay.
Do you have anything to play?
I am not going to play any bluffs.
Okay.
So that site has two choices.
No, it's just occult investigation.
It's just occult investigation. Okay.
So Mulder has occult of 3, and Kosef is 2.
Is 2. Okay. So you will make that.
Okay.
Go ahead and ask.
So motive question. Is your motive ideology?
My motive is ideology. This is going to be a very short game.
Okay. Holy cow. Okay. So this goes away.
Before you do that, I'm marking things, and then I have stuff to do before things go any further. But I have a lot of cards, a lot of X files to mark off here.
Yes.
By my count, you have me down to 7 already. After that happens, I'm going to spend 6. And I'm going to play counterintelligence measures. It says play this card after your opponent has asked a characteristic question regarding your X file. After you answer the question, your opponent must answer the question as well. Your opponent may still guess your X file identity if normally allowed to do so, but you may not.
So I need to answer if mine is ideology.
I can ask the same characteristic question.
Oh, so motive.
Which was motive. And I will ask if your motive is ideology.
Actually, wait, can you reread the card? Because I thought it was the exact same question.
It says, play this card after your opponent has asked a characteristic question regarding your X file. After you answer the question, your opponent must answer the question as well.
Yeah, so yeah, it's got to be exactly the same, like, so motive, ideology, both ways.
Okay.
So, yes. Motive is ideology, yes.
Your motive is ideology.
And I have 9 is what I count.
9.
If I'm wrong.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, since you guys are on exact footing on this, I'll go and verify that 9, because yeah, it's the same checklist for both of you guys, so no one's getting really an advantage out of this one. So, all right.
Okay, hold on. I accidentally... I think I accidentally crossed out things I wasn't supposed to cross out. So I'm just going to go to...
We have seen a few games where someone gets a correct answer right out of the gate with round 1, and then it still winds up being a very long-winded game. So I'm not counting... I was about to type... I'm not sure about that, Paul, but then again, you also got a correct answer in the same round 1. So with you guys both having the X-File down to 9, I might be eating my words on this. This might actually be a fast one at this rate. But good job on both of you guys.
So we resolved this site, correct? So this is gone.
Yes.
And then I'm done.
Okay.
And I apologize if we can take a second. I gain a RP because this is an occult investigation site from Kalar, so I'm at 6. And,
yes, go for it.
I have 8 cards, so I have to discard 1.
And in debriefing, I have 7.
All right, I'm going to drop Energy Strike.
Okay.
So
I'm good to go to my turn?
Yes.
Excuse me. I'm going to draw a card.
Cool.
Excuse me. I hope I'm not burping this entire game. All right. I've drawn. I'm going to create some res. I'm going to create 6 res. I'm going to go to 11.
After playing staff, I need to redo my deck so I can gain more res because this team's not the best for that.
Skinner's pretty solid for creating res if you just leave him in the bureau. Having a cell phone certainly helps if you have cell phones.
I think I have one. That's the other thing. I don't have like a ton of cards, so I gotta figure out how to get more cards. But I don't. Me and Steven were talking about that. It's like I got into the game before the world shut down, and now all of a sudden all the cards went up to $120 a box or whatever. It's like, come on, they were 50.
Yeah, the box prices went crazy recently.
Like, come on, somebody. And I said somebody's got to have just ungodly amounts of cards sitting somewhere. Just get rid of them. Sell them to us. We want them.
We want to play. Yeah,
we'll give you a deal. We'll buy a pallet from you. Everybody in the this whatever the X-Files CCG site will all throw in and get a bunch.
Right.
We'll buy a bunch. We'll just buy a ton.
All right. I am in briefing. I've drawn my card. I've created my res. I am going to. CP. What's that?
I'm allowed to sell.
I'm still deciding if I'm buying cards. I'm just looking at my hand here, and I'm going to buy 3 cards and go to 8. Am I good to draw the cards?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I always ask because there's 2 cards in the game that stop the opponent from drawing cards after they've paid.
Gotcha.
So I don't want to jump the gun on that. And then go ahead and buy and sell. Or sell and buy, actually.
I'm going to sell 2. One is a mulligan.
Okay.
3. It's the purple one, so that's 3. And then expedite request for resources is 1.
Okay.
So 4 total. So that puts me to 9. If I can find it. There we go. And I'm going to buy 2. So that puts me back to 7.
Okay.
It is 1, 2.
Okay. After you've bought cards, I'm going to go to healing. I have nothing for healing. In requisition, I am going to... I'm not going to do anything in requisition. I'm going to go to deployment. I'm going to send Krejcik, Patterson, and Niemhauer to the field. I'm going to leave Danny Pendrell in the bureau. And I'm going to go to case assignment.
Okay. I'm going to... I can play an event, correct?
Yes, you can play an event.
I'm going to play Rejuvenating Caves.
Okay.
So that puts me back to 5. I can find it. There we go. Oh, I dropped it, of course. And then that gives me 10 on that one. Okay.
Okay, and you can pull 2 off of that at any time, correct?
It says on place 10 tech tokens beginning on your opponent's next turn. You may take 2
beginning
off.
of next turn. Okay.
Yeah, so not right now.
Okay.
And
then if I'm okay to go with a case assignment.
You are.
Okay. I'm going to spend 2. I'm at 8. I'm going to go to 6. And I'm going to play Striker's Cove. It is a prerequisite evidence collection 4+ site where I can ask an affiliation question. And then it is to you to play bluffs.
I'm going to play Not on the Menu to draw 2 cards.
Okay.
So that puts me at 3. And I don't have anything to put down.
Okay. I'm going to go to investigate the site with my team. Do you have anything to play before I ask a question?
And again,
or before I make the skill check?
What's the site again?
It is an evidence 4+ skill check prerequisite that I have 2 from Krychek, 3 from Patterson, and 1 from Fred Niemhauer. So I would make the skill check, and I get to ask an affiliation question.
Affiliation, okay. I don't have anything. You got this one.
Okay. I'm going to ask, is your affiliation primordial?
No.
Okay.
And I have 7 cards.
Okay. Before we go to discarding or anything in the debriefing, I'm going to spend 5 and go to 1. And I'm going to play a Deep Throat. And I'm going to ask a characteristic question regarding your X file.
Okay.
And then remove Deep Throat from the game.
Okay.
I'm going to ask, is your affiliation alien?
No.
Okay. Deep Throat is removed from the game. It's the first time I haven't used that to sell it for resources.
I'm the lucky one.
Actually, maybe I did that in the game earlier today, but the game earlier today has like melted into my mind. So that is there. I have nothing else, so I will go to debriefing. The site goes away, and I have a whole bunch of cards to discard.
That's the other thing I have to wrap my brain around is it's almost better to have more cards in your hand to get rid of them so then you can bring them back with other cards.
Yeah.
Like I'm still figuring it out. Like I used to play Magic. I played Rage. I don't know if you're familiar with Rage.
Oh, totally.
And then, well, it was called Jihad originally.
Yeah.
So
yep. Vampire Jihad. Yeah.
Yep. So we used to play all those, but I don't know how I missed this way back when. Probably because I was playing all the other ones.
Yeah. I love this game. This game is so much fun. There's so much interaction that goes on. You never feel like you just watch the other player. You're always like, well, I can do this. I can change that.
Yeah.
We can have a battle. I'm going to discard terminal damage, and I'm going to discard trap. And I'm just going to verify. Okay. I have 7 cards in hand.
Okay.
So we'll pass to you.
So draw a card. Okay. Resource. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that puts me to 13. Buy cards. I'm not going to buy any cards.
Okay. I'm going to go to sell. I'm going to sell a shotgun and a Hell Money and a No One So Paranoid. So that is 10, 15.
Jeez. Okay.
So I've got 15. And I'm going to spend 5 and go to 10. And I'm going to draw 5 cards if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Proceed.
Oh crap. Oh. Oh, I apologize. I have to pick up 2 from Mulder.
That's fine. Do what you do. Spend
Sorry,
the 2. Do what you
apologize.
have to do.
That puts me to 11. I forgot.
No worries. No worries. I spaced out on it as well.
I'm going to spend 2 to play Friend in the FBI.
Okay.
So that puts me to 9. That's 10. I played that out of order. I should have played that at the very, very beginning. I am also going to play.
Matt, you have a question from chat.
No, I didn't. The only tournaments we ever played were super duper local. I'm from Pittsburgh originally, and it wasn't anything. I mean, no. No. We used to play a lot, but unfortunately, no. And my name is just very, very unique. So,
I didn't realize that there's a Canadian politician that has my name until I got an email that was addressed to him about something that happened in Canada. And I was like, you do not have Paul J. Comeau, the Canadian politician. You have Paul J. Comeau, the American journalist. Are you sure this is something you want to be sending to me? And they're just like, oh, I'm sorry.
Well, let's see here. From what I got in my hand, I'm going to play Street Contacts. So that's 1. So that puts me to 8, unless you can counter this for some reason. Search through your
what does it say?
Search through your bureau deck and place any 1 witness card in your hand. Show the witness to your opponent. Shuffle your bureau deck.
Nope, you got it.
And honestly, I don't even know who's in here, so it's going to be a surprise to both of us.
It's all good. It's all good. All the more excitement.
I just don't know the cards as well as I should. I'm taking.
This is how you learn, you know.
Dr. Sheila Braun
Okay.
adds 2 to 1 team's behavioral skill check.
Okay.
Shuffle these. So anybody that's played Magic, but when we first started playing, buddy of mine, first starter deck he ever bought, pulled a Chaos Orb.
Sweet.
So it is destroyed. He used that card. It's probably still in his deck. He used it every single game. So he'd be flipping them. He figured out how to throw that thing so well. So whenever
awesome.
Whenever I'd play him, all my cards were like, "You're not getting me. You're not getting me with that."
There's a Chaos Orb in the X-Files game also. It's Alien Harvester.
Oh. And
it is not banned, but it is banned. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
I mean, how do you figure out what cards it would hit? If
that's where how do you figure out how to flip a card onto the table in a virtual game? So
right.
It's not banned, but it's frowned on playing it.
You'd almost have to set whatever. If you threw it at me, you would have to set your cards exactly how I have mine, and then throw it, and then. Yeah.
It is strongly discouraged.
So I'm going to play Sheila Braun.
Okay.
For 2.
Okay. Where does that leave you for resources this turn?
6. 6 resource.
Oh, I know. I have an orb myself that is wrecked. I got it from a friend.
And then, so no healing, no requisition, deployment. I am going to play 2 sites.
Okay. Are you sending?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna send. I apologize.
Oh, hey Matt. You have Dr. Sheila Braun. Is she currently in play right now?
Yes.
Oh, she's actually unlike Kristen Killar. She doesn't have a keyword resource on her. So she's just good for like a single play. And in that case, I believe you have to wait until there's actually a skill. You have to wait till there's a skill check actually happening for her to actually be used. In which case, it's behavioral, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So if Paul doesn't care, if you want to
just rewind that, put that back in your hand and get your resources back for it.
So that was.
Yeah. A second to realize, oh wait, that's not a resource witness. This is because I'm a little.
I didn't realize it wasn't either.
No, yeah. I apologize. It's witness behavioral. That's it.
Yeah, okay. And she's only going to add to like 1 skill check 1 time. So if you have a behavioral site coming up, great. But yeah, otherwise, just wait till you actually need her for that 1 play.
Cool. So I'm going to play a behavioral site.
Oh, well, there you go. So we may see
before you play the site. Did you want to change your agents that are in the field and in the bureau? You've got Mulder and what's her name in the field.
I'm gonna still send Kasdan and Mulder.
Kasdan and Mulder are staying in the field. The other 2 are staying in the bureau. Okay.
Correct. Okay. So Aubrey, Missouri. Site.
Wait, you said Kasdan? Looks like, is she still in the bureau?
Oh, I apologize. Kosif and Mulder are in. I apologize.
Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna go back. But yeah, carry on, guys.
Sorry, now I'm all thrown off. Aubrey, Missouri, 2. So that puts my res to 6.
Okay. And Aubrey, Missouri is, what are the keywords on that?
Site, mono, motive, behavioral.
Motive and behavioral. Okay. Yeah. And you currently have how much behavioral?
3.
3. Okay.
Behavioral on the prereq, behavioral 4. You may ask a motive question.
Okay. And is all of that behavioral from Karen, or is Mulder contributing to that behavioral also?
She has 3, Mulder has 3, and since you know Sheila Braun's coming.
Okay, so you have 3 behavioral from each. I was just confirming that.
Correct.
Okay.
So then Sheila Braun would be in play now too.
Well, if you have 3 and 3, you're already making the skill check, right?
Yes, but I was going to play a second site.
Okay, so what I might suggest doing, Matt, is holding off on playing Braun until you get to the investigation phase, because right now you're still in case assignment where you're putting down sites, and then once you send your agents to whichever site you like, then you can put, and then you stated that, okay, Mulder's applying this, Kosov's applying this, and then you could do one of 2 things with the witness. You could stand as it is, and then wait and see how the chips fall. If Paul plays an adversary or something like that, knocks out one, and then you can play the witness sort of like a backup. Or you can just, or if you, depending on how you divide your agents up, you can then play the witness to add to whatever skill check is currently existing at whichever site you decide to go to. But yeah, so we'll wait till investigation phase to get that witness out. But for right now, yeah, if you're still in case assignment, we'll get the sites on the mat. Wait until Paul decides whether or not he wants to play bluffs on either or both of the sites. Head into investigation, take your agents to whichever site you want, then do your witness.
Gotcha. Okay. The second site is Lake Okoboji.
Okay.
Mono motive alien investigation.
Okay.
And that's 2. So that puts me to 4 RP.
Okay, and that's an alien investigation 4.
Yes.
Okay, so site 1 is the one that is behavioral. Site 2 is the one that is alien investigation.
Yes.
I am going to play a bluff on the alien investigation site.
Okay.
And I am going to play a bluff on the behavioral site as well.
Okay. So let's get after it.
Okay. Now you can assign your agents to whichever site you want to go. You can split them up or send them together, however you'd like.
They're going separately.
Okay.
Kosov to Aubrey, Mulder to Okojobi.
Okay. Which site would you like to investigate first?
We'll do Kosov first. So
Okay.
I apologize. I can't remember which one's which you have.
That's site 1.
Yep, this is 1, and Mulder's 2.
Is 2. Yep. Okay, so that's the behavioral site. So now we're going to go to revealing bluffs. And I'm going to reveal a true bluff. It's a grid pattern search event. So that'll be discarded.
And what does, I don't even know what that does.
It is an event card that I could have played to select one card from my discard pile and put it back in my hand.
Oh, so that's just a bluff.
But because I played it as a bluff and it's not a real bluff, it just gets discarded.
Gotcha. Okay. So this, so that's the other thing. Kosov is a 3. This is a behavioral 4+.
Yes.
I have to play the witness.
Now you would need to play the witness.
So that puts me down to 2.
Yep. So now, before you go to make the skill check, now that that's happened so that you're at that point, I'm going to spend 4 and go to 6 in my conspiracy pool.
Okay.
And I'm going to play Mostow's Sketches on Agent Krychek.
What is that? I don't know.
It is an event. It has keywords occult artifact equipment, and it has activators of conspiracy field. I'm the conspiracy player, and Krychek is in the field. So I can attach this card to an agent in the field. The agent may attack any team investigating a site during his opponent's investigation phase.
Okay.
If the agent is negated, discard this card. If the agent is reduced to 0 health, remove the agent from the game.
Okay. So we go
So
into combat.
now I'm going to have Krychek attack Agent Kosev. So we'll go into long range combat.
I have nothing to stop this. My health is a 3.
Okay. My health is a 5, so we'll do long range combat damage to each other. I have 4 on Krychek, so I'll shoot 4 damage at Kosev.
She does 1.
Okay, so
So
Krychek
she's
takes
gone.
1.
So she's out of the game.
Nope, she's in the hospital. She's not dead.
Oh, I thought it said she's out of the game.
If my agent dies for some reason, my agent gets removed from the game entirely.
I see. So that fails. Okay.
So that is the first site. You're going to investigate the second site with Mulder?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to flip up a bluff. It is Section Chief Joseph McGrath. It costs 5 because I had played it face down. It costs 1 less. So it costs 4. And I'm going to pay it. I'm going to go to 2. And it says, force 1 agent, your choice, back to the Bureau immediately. The agent may not contribute to any skill checks this turn.
Cool. And I'm at 6 cards.
Okay. I am at 6 cards as well. So I'll go to draw for the start of my turn.
And I'm going to take 2 from Rejuvenating Caves.
Go for it.
So that puts this to 8 and my CP at 5.
Okay. I'm going to now create some res. I'm going to create 6 res. I'm going to go to 7.
Okay.
How much conspiracy do you have right now?
5 total.
5 right now. Okay, I am going to not buy any cards. I'm going to be good with what I have, so I'll pass to you to buy cards.
I'm going to sell 2.
Okay.
Fast Strike, which is 4, and Street Contacts for 1.
Okay.
So that puts me to 10. And I'm going to buy... I'll buy 3. So that puts me at 7.
I'm going to go to deployment.
Okay.
I'm going to put my whole team in the field now. Pendrell's coming off the bench.
Off the bench. Uh-oh.
I'm going to go to case assignment.
Okay.
I'm going to go to 5. And I'm going to play a Striker's Cove.
That's your card.
It is my card. And I'm going to go to 4. And I'm going to play Chaco House. So Striker's Cove is the evidence collection 4+ that you may ask an affiliation question. And Chaco House is a subterfuge 5+ or behavioral 5+, and you may ask an affiliation or motive question. If you ask if the motive is security, the skill check prerequisite is 4.
Are you going to use that option?
I don't believe I have to make that call until after you've placed bluffs.
Oh, okay.
But we can double check with Steven on that because this came up in my earlier game.
You're correct. So after Matt plays the bluffs, then you go into investigation phase, and then you assign your agents to those 2 sites. And then whenever you elect to go to the Chaco house, at that point, you're like, okay, my agents are going to be applying their skills, like either behavioral or subterfuge, whichever you choose. And then you say, I am going to use that condition on that site, state your agent skills, yada, yada, yada.
I think I could be wrong. We'd have to look at the video. I think staff was making me choose ahead of time, but I could be completely wrong with that.
Okay.
You might be correct on that one. I feel like that was the one. Oh, that was the one where I only was around for like the first 10 minutes and then I had to go to work.
Fine.
So I couldn't.
Like I said, I'm learning. So everybody else that's watching this is probably like, this is the boringest game ever.
No way.
Sketch's good lord. That alone is worth the price of admission. If you have the little advanced checklist book, this is really handy if you go to the back side of it. And then, it states on the back, so case assignment, site cards are played, which we just did, assign the bluffs, then that's all you do. Then you go into investigation, and as it says on the back, assign the agents to the sites. And then where it says sites investigated, that's where you're taking your agent's skills and you're applying them however you want. And then it says resolve bluffs. And at that point, you can play any other cards, adversaries and whatnot. So this is very handy for just getting those steps down pat.
Gotcha.
Okay. And so it's during sites investigated that you're locking in the stats that you're choosing, correct?
That sounds accurate to me.
Okay. So go ahead and play bluffs.
And I apologize. What's the site that you play all the time? What's
the main site that I've been playing is Strikers Cove. It's an evidence collection 4+. And where I might ask an affiliation question.
As far as your team's concerned, what's your
I have 3 evidence collection on Patterson.
Okay.
I have 2 evidence collection on Krejcik, and I have 1 evidence collection on Niemhauer.
Okay.
Or Niemhauser.
And then I apologize.
And then Danny Pendrell also has evidence collection of 3.
Okay.
So I have lots of evidence collection.
Yep. And then the second one is again?
The second site is subterfuge 5+ or behavioral 5+. You may ask 1 affiliation question or 1 motive question. And if you ask if the motive question is security, the skill check prerequisite is 4.
Your team.
I have subterfuge of 4 on Krejcik, and I have subterfuge of 1 on Patterson.
Okay. On the first site, I'll play a bluff.
Okay. So this is, just to confirm, that's on the evidence collection 4+ site?
Correct.
Okay. So there is a bluff there. So I'm going to go assign my team to sites. I'm going to send Danny Pendrell and Niemhauer to Strikers Cove, and I'm going to send Krejcik and Patterson to Chaco House.
Okay. And now reveal the bluff.
Before you reveal that, I'm going to decide which one that I'm trying to investigate first.
Oh, I apologize. Yep.
No worries. I'm going to go to Chaco House first.
Okay. Which that doesn't have anything on it.
Okay. So do you have anything to play before I try to make the skill check?
I do not.
Okay. So the skill check is subterfuge 5. and I have 4 from Krychek and 1 from Patterson. And I'm going to ask an affiliation question.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask if your affiliation is the occult.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to take a guess. Is your X-File Mrs. Paddock?
No.
Okay. So you have a penalty question that you can ask me for an affiliation question.
I just want to point out, Matt, you have the option of asking either an affiliation question or, if you want to take a 1 in 9 shot at identifying for the win, you have both of those options available. You can take one or the other.
If I miss on the 1 in 9, does it go back? No.
Oh, well, yeah, no penalty for you. It's just just because you're getting this penalty question as a result. So yeah, there's no penalty for the penalty.
Okay.
But I just want to point that out. That since you have 9 left, so I mean, it could be worse.
Worth a shot.
Yeah, it's up to you. It's up to you. I just wanted to clarify that you can ask either of those 2 questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Is your X-File Dr. Banton?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Now I feel a little bad for coming in and clarifying that, but it was still, I figured Matt didn't have a genuine awareness that he could do either or.
I thought if I asked
I didn't know that penalty questions could be guesses. I thought the penalty question had to be what was asked.
It could be either the exact characteristic question that you had asked, or which was affiliation, or it could be the identity question. It's and the reason for that is if you get to that situation where you have your opponent's X-File narrowed down to just 1. So obviously you're not going to ask that characteristic question because by that point you know all the characteristics. So it leaves it open for either possibility depending on where you are in narrowing down your opponent's X-File, which I really have to applaud, Matt. I did not expect you were going to even take that. I would have gone with the affiliation question too with 9 because I mean that was ballsy. That was a toss up there.
The reason I did it was I had a double shot on that because ideology, evolutionary, there's only one.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was wrong, then I knew it wasn't evolutionary.
Right.
So that's a twofer.
Yeah, and then and Paul was going to probably go for with because that was the affiliation for the other one. So yeah, that's true. Yeah, because you got the affiliation on this one. So when you went to Striker's Cove, you probably would have just taken another shot at it, I assume, at that point, right, Paul?
Yeah.
Knowing you already had the affiliation at that point. So yeah, no, that was true. That's true. So you would have undoubtedly taken probably 2 guesses.
So wait, what was the second one? Because just so you know, I was gonna play Card Troubles. So that wouldn't have even worked because you only sent 2.
Right.
So then what would be the question you were gonna ask?
Well, after asking that question and being no, I had you down to 2 Ancestor Spirits and Michael Holvey. So I would have been asking my affiliation question would have been whatever, since I've got you to occult, and I would have just been taking a guess, and I probably would have asked Michael Holvey.
No.
Yeah.
Ancestor Spirits.
Ancestor Spirits. And I want to point out that this is the 3rd instance in which Ancestor Spirits was the chosen X-File in these first 17 games. In fact, it was just a few hours ago, David Peace had chosen Ancestor Spirits, which Paul was able to detect before. But I think the first time it was used, it was for, Sky Evans, who did win that one as a result of having ancestor spirits. So yeah, it's not a bad one to have, especially when you have motive as ideology. Generally speaking, I think that tends to be an overlooked characteristic question. People tend to go survival or security or control more often than I think they go ideology on that one. And plus, people don't usually go for physiological imbalance as a result. They usually go death or, something more obvious, something that takes off more possibilities. So it's a nice one. It's not a bad one to have. Did you choose that one randomly, Matt?
Yeah.
Very nice.
And that's the thing. I don't even have all the X-Files.
I'm sure we can help you with that.
My stack of X-Files is like...
Yeah, definitely. Send me the list of the ones you don't have. I will send you...
It's not all of them. It's not
okay,
all
yeah. Send me the list. I will get one out to you very soon. And then, because I know you play with your wife a lot of times. So, that way... Because, if you guys know... It kind of skews the game a little if the two of you, you're playing like, well, I already know we don't have Donnie Faster, so we're not going to scratch that one off the list, kind of takes a little bit of the fun out of it a little bit. But send me a private message. Don't put it in the Discord. You have more games coming up, so I'll get those out to you pretty quick.
That was complete luck.
I've got one. What's
that?
That was complete luck on my side.
Sometimes that's how you win. It's just like
100%.
Magic. Your opponent doesn't draw any lands, and you win.
Yeah, it was 100% luck. Seriously,
I love it. I love the chaos aspect of the game. You could win based on deductive reasoning or just shot in the dark, and I like that the game has both those possibilities equally possible. In the course of the game. So there's a lot of ways you can get the win. You could be struggling to get site investigations in, but hey, sometimes the penalty questions are the ones that do you in. And I have been done in by many penalty questions. And I often regret taking shots in the dark with that penalty question waiting in the wings, because that one does cost me a lot of games. So, yes, good luck, gentlemen. And Alistair has 1x lucky guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
that's
my gosh, yes. Yeah. That might impact the way you guys decide to play the lucky guesses in the game. But then again, if you're in a situation where you're kind of like down, like say you don't have any sites in your hand and you're not entirely sure you're going to be able to buy enough cards to potentially get a site when you go into the next round, not a bad idea to maybe I'll take a guess because maybe I don't have any sites in hand and I'm not feeling lucky or something, or maybe I've got agents in the hospital like was David Peace's situation throughout most of the earlier game. I might be like, you know what, forget the characteristic question, I'm just going to take this 1 in a million shot, well, not a 1 in a million, but 1 in X.
Yeah.
And my deck is light on sites.
I know
I'm
that.
playing 3 total in my deck.
Yeah. And so actually, Paul,
because the primary Matt, the primary goal of this deck was actually to play killer cards to kill my opponent's team and not to investigate sites. Investigating sites was the plan B.
Interesting.
Matt, Paul, since this is your third and final one, and at this point we might expect you to maybe be revising your deck going into the finals.
I'm playing a different deck when we're playing the elimination rounds.
I'm bringing the thunder. I'm not doing this.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the composition of your deck? And
so this deck was basically taking advantage of the killer rules to be playing a combat heavy, removal heavy deck. So I'm playing 2 Oubliette, 2 Abduction, Hostile Sketches to turn Agent Krychek into a 1-man killing machine, and then using Agent Lamanna dies in a fatal accident if I had played against anybody who had Agent Lamanna, because I thought he was going to be the most common of that rate agents.
That's fair. Yeah.
And terminal damage to kill most anybody else that I could kill. So it's either kill your agents and take them out of the game entirely with the killer cards, or abduct and oubliette your agents out of the game to accomplish the win condition, where if you have no agents in the game, you win.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
If somebody doesn't have agents, you're out, right?
If your opponent has no agents, they lose the game. Yeah.
Yeah, if they're all removed from the game, then yeah, that's a forfeit right there. Never seen a game play out like that. Would love to.
Is that
be
considered
awesome.
the hospital though, or is it out of the game?
Nope, the hospital is still in play.
Gotcha.
So when Agent Krychek surprise attacked David earlier and put his team in the hospital, that doesn't count as a kill because they're still in the game technically.
Gotcha.
I suppose if there was a situation where, let me think about this, because Paul, you abducted David's agents like 3 times in the last.
And I had 2 of his agents abducted into his deck at one point.
If you had
but I never drew the cards that I needed to either kill outright or oubliette out of the game his other two agents. It just never happened.
If you had a situation where like his agents were like either abducted and some were moved from the game, the only card he would be drawing at that, and let's say his resource pool was just tanked, then the only card he'd be able to get is just that free card, right at the very beginning, and that's it. And so that would really like hinder things for a good many rounds. Not quite a forfeit because that free card eventually they could get their agents back, but it would take a really long time.
Well, if all 4 of their agents were abducted, that would be technically a win, but hard to do that.
Yeah, very hard to do because you have to obviously play abduction 4 times, and I mean, and it's a shame we don't have that Chaos Orb Alien Harvester. Some like if there was some way we could pull it off in the virtual world, it could very well get multiple agents.
Like you said, you have to just the other person has to set their cards exactly the same way, and then you flip it, and then whatever lands on. If Paul's throwing at me, whatever lands on Paul's cards are the cards that I have to discard. That's the only way. I mean, that'd be the only.
Or you get the judge to do it. The third party to just
you'd probably need the third party to adjudicate to make it fair in some way.
Yeah.
But it's not worth throwing you guys through that kind of stress for the one card.
Beyond it being cool to see, because unfortunately, that is the one card we just really cannot play in the virtual games, unfortunately. And it would be cool to see that card get played from time to time because it is such an odd card that is dependent upon the players being in the same geographic location. So and so Matt, congratulations. So you got a 1-1 record at this point, and your last game is with John Yost, and I believe that one is scheduled on April 25th. Am I correct on that?
I believe Thursday. Yeah.
Late night Thursday. Late night Thursday. So I don't have the calendar to share on the screen, but that's the only game beyond this one that's later tonight.
Above me. So got it.
8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Yes. So Matt will be back on Thursday the 25th at Matt and Mike's X-Files CCG to square off against John Yost. 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that will wrap up Matt's 3 games.
Yep.
And otherwise, we're waiting for 2 more games to get scheduled. But make sure to tune in to Alien Investigations in just over 2 hours from now. Dave Meyer versus John Wood. Both of them are going to wrap up their third and final matchup for the pre-playoffs. And so, tune into Alien Investigations tonight if you have not gotten enough X-Files CCG for one day. I want to thank everyone who was tuning into the live chat. I know Mike Perrine was actually watching a little bit of the games, but he's at his cabin, so reception wasn't strong enough for him to be able to actually tune in for this matchup. but he was watching it and he was enjoying seeing Mostow's sketches getting played because he had wanted to see that card get used for a while. But a lot of us were a little iffy about some of the text on that card. And Paul, I have to concur that the way you're playing it, it seems appropriate. Like, I realize now that the card having the keyword equipment is an odd choice, but it works for that card. So we treat it as a resource, so it stays in play. And the other thing I was just not sure about with that card is if the agent's considered an adversary. It doesn't say it. It doesn't have the keyword adversary on it. So how it would get negated, I'm not really sure.
I'm not sure either. Yeah.
Maybe like Erlenmeyer Flask could do it if it was an alien,
or just anything negating an event card.
I guess you could negate
or anything that destroys an equipment would probably do it.
Oh yeah, because an equipment card during the investigating play, an anti-equipment. Yeah, it's kind of iffy whether or not you could play like Henry Trondheim, and
the other team would probably have to just take their licks and then play it on their turn when they're able to blow up the equipment.
Yeah, it's just a weird card. Like, with just the keywords alone make it just a very odd card altogether. But I like the way you're playing it. I have a feeling that it's the correct way to go, and we'll see if those who watch these two games today, if they concur. I believe they will, because I can't factor in another way like that we could. We haven't seen it get negated or anything like that. So I think the way you've got it is the right way to go. And so I could see this being a launching pad where we see more instances of that card getting played in normal games. Though for me, I don't know, the fear of that card getting negated. Negated isn't bad. It just gets
negated doesn't hurt it. Yeah, it's just him getting sent to the hospital. If he gets sent to the hospital, he dies.
Yeah. So it's the fear of combat cards coming up, that well-placed combat cards, like upending things, and then suddenly that agent's out of play. Have you thought about? Considering you're probably going to be changing it up, but Krychek the Double Agent is a kind of a similar event card to Mostow's sketches. It's a bit more text heavy, and that it actually does outline that, yes, treat this one as a government adversary or something like that. Yeah, and I was wondering if that was a consideration, because that's another killer card in the.
I didn't consider that one because the plan for me of playing Mostow's sketches is put him on Krychek that has the best long range combat,
right,
and then play a bunch of long range combat related cards and subterfuge related cards to just make him shields up. You can't touch him, and just take everybody out, which we did in the game against David. It worked very well that I had the cards that I needed when I needed them to do that, because he had me up against the ropes questions wise. Like, I wasn't able to slow down the questions without taking his team out.
Mm-hmm. And the distinction with Krychek the Double Agent to Mostow's sketches is it pertains to the opposing player's copy of Krychek. And we've seen Krychek be a very recurring presence throughout this tournament. A lot of people had Krychek on their teams. Not as many as had Hosteen, but still, Krychek was a pretty.
People have had Kazdan. This guy.
Yeah. Whether we see Kazdan appear on another team in the finals, I won't say. It's possible, but I do applaud you, Matt, because it occurred to me when you were introducing Kazdan, I was like, well, Paul has an affinity for abducting agents. We would probably get to see Kazdan's game effect utilized in this game. We didn't, because the abducting cards did not come up, but I don't think in any of the games I've played or observed, I've seen Kazdan's effect actually be used.
What is the actual effect on the card? I don't recall.
If one of your agents is abducted, you immediately draw 2 cards.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you get hopefully get those agents back a little bit faster as a result of Kazdan's effect. So again, never seen it used.
Then it would be 8, right?
Yeah. Yep. So it's kind of like a not on the menu for
Yeah.
for abducted agents. And so yeah, at that point you get 2 free cards that could maybe help you out either in that current round or in the next one. So yeah, that's kind of cool. So it kind of just gives you a couple free cards to work with while also getting you closer to getting your agent back. So yeah, I look forward to seeing that. I hopefully see more of that abduction card, because it is a fun card to see when it gets played, because as Paul had demonstrated in the games with David Peace earlier, you got to get that activator of Alien Investigation met first in order to play that card, which isn't always easy, but you made it look very easy earlier today by use of the Cigarette Smoking Man Strikes. So good inclusion with 2 copies of that card to make it possible. It's expensive, but the payoff certainly works quite handily.
Absolutely. When you need to make those combos come together to do what you want to do, you need that.
Indeed. So great game. And so yeah, Matt, I'm glad you got 1 in the win column. I like it if in my ideal tournament, everyone will get at least 1 win in the pre-playoffs, but you know what? It's not always possible. And again, this is just kind of a warm-up set of 3 games, so everyone's getting a chance to see what's working with their decks and what's not. And I'm sure we'll see. I can't imagine. I don't know. Like, I would be surprised if anyone decides to keep their deck or their team exactly as is going into the finals. I could be wrong, but I would wager probably everyone's going to probably have at least a few changes here or there at some point. You don't have to actually submit your new deck, before your round 1. I suspect most people probably will, but you don't have to. It's just any point during the finals you can submit a new team of agents and new deck. So Mike and I will get more into that as we wrap up these remaining pre-playoff games. But yes, this has been a great tournament so far, gentlemen. I hope you guys have been having a great time thus far.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Alistair, that's a great question. So I will defer to Mike to answer that at a later time. Because again, you guys can but my guess is, and maybe he can counter that at a later time, you guys can submit your decks, your new agents at any time during the finals. So I would say no. Yes or no. It kind of depends. So you could submit your new deck now if you've already wrapped up your 3 games. You could do it now, or you can wait to see your pairings and then decide that you want to submit a new deck. So what I don't know, and maybe Mike will clear this up, I think what we're going to do is when we do that random drawing, I think we're going to do it for all the rounds, not just like round 1, wait till everything's resolved, then do the round 2. I don't think that's how.
Is it not going to be an elimination bracket?
It has to be.
Yeah, I'm leaving the bracket up. That's his. Yes. So the first bracket is there's going to be 2 players that get a bypass. Right now, it's currently looking like Jonathan Hagee and Stafford Parker are going to get the bypass of round 1, unless Nathan pulls off another win in his upcoming game. I think it's against Sky Evans. So if Nathan gets the bypass, then if Nathan gets 3-0, then Mike and I are going to have to maybe do a random drawing with David May to figure out which 2 are going to get the bye. So the first round of the finals is going to be, I think it's going to be 6 players. 12 players, 6 games. And then in round 2, after 6 have been eliminated, we're going to have the 2 players who got the bypass come in. And so we're going to have 8 players, 4 games.
Yep.
And then and so forth and so forth. I just don't know if we're going to do the ball draw, like if we're going to do the drawing for the pairings after each round concludes, I think. But again, I'm leaving those details to Mike because he's got the more tournament XP and he's going to be the one doing all the brackets. I'm just kind of the one who's doing a lot of the pre-playoff stuff that you guys have been seeing in Discord and Facebook, because at least I understand that. But when it comes to the brackets, I'm entirely deferring that to Mike.
Okay.
Cool.
So because he knows that stuff way better than I do. If To collectively we pair well together because he's got some of that knowledge that I'm like, I'm a bit iffy on this, Mike, but he's like, oh, don't worry, I got this. But yeah, he can certainly clarify that on the next matchup, which he'll be present, which I think he'll be there on Thursday, the 25th for your next game, Matt. So Alistair, anyone who's watching wants to ask some more specifics about the finals, because again, Mike will be present for that game. By that point, we might be pretty close to done, depending on when those other two games are going to get scheduled. So that game on Thursday could be the last one for all we know.
Cool.
And then, we'll, at that point, once they're all wrapped up, then we'll schedule that first drawing. So you'll see the pairings for at least the round one. And so, Alistair, to go back to your question, so that might be a very wise tactical decision to wait on submitting your new deck and team until after at least your round one pairings. So not a bad idea. But then again, you won't necessarily know if your opponent's submitted a new team or not. You can go back to the tapes and for these first three rounds and see what your opponent was working with and maybe potentially plan for that, but you won't necessarily know if they're going in with the same exact deck or team at that point. So again, it'll be one of those where you might be like reviewing the tapes and making some tactical decisions to decide how you want to enter the finals. But for now, it's I kind of like these pre-playoff games because it's very much like, kind of sort of casual gameplay where there's not really too much on the line. It's just kind of affecting the standings going into the finals. So it's still just like no stakes yet. Not yet anyway. So everyone's just kind of having a good time.
I'm learning. So thank you guys for being patient with me because I'm just asking questions all the time because I just want to make sure I'm playing in the correct order, I guess.
Yeah, I see
you're doing great. We had a great game. So it's great to have more people playing the game. I heard we had 14 players. I'm like, wow, that's awesome.
Can't find 14 players anywhere.
I know. We were hoping for at least 12 going into this, minimum of 12. And so the fact that we got 14 was just fantastic. It only made us have to kind of work on, what are we going to do for the first round of the finals? Other than that, because the odd number going into round two would have been weird. Beyond that, having 14 is a great number. So it's not it. And you guys have all been great with getting your games scheduled with one another. So that's been no headache for Mike and I. You guys have been able to get your game scheduled with one another. And Mike and I, between the two of us, have been able to make it so that at least one of us is available. So that's almost kind of handy that he and I are on a different time zone. So we've been able to make it so it works for one of us, if not the other. Sure. So, gentlemen, I think we're going to wrap this up because I got 2 hours before the next game goes. I hope you decide to tune in for that next one and see how Dave Meyer and John Wood fare in their last round.
What are their records right now?
Sorry?
What are their records right now? Do you know offhand?
I should know. So Dave Meyer, I believe, is 2-0. And John Wood is... Oh, no, I take it back. I'm sorry. Sky did best Dave Meyer in the last game. So Dave Meyer's record is 1-1, like yours, Matt. And John Woods is currently 0-2. So I'm rooting for him, even though I'm a judge. I'm rooting for him because, like I said, I'd like it, if possible, for everyone to get at least one win in the pre-playoffs, ideally. So I might be secretly rooting for him, but that won't skew any of my decisions, though. All right, Alistair. Yeah, it is a bit on the late side, Alistair. Understandable. So, gentlemen, I want to thank you both for having a great game, and I look forward to seeing you guys in your next future matchup.
Cool. Great. Thank you for having us, as always. Matt, thank you for the game. This was awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for dealing with me.
And it's customary for all the guests. I'm going to ask you guys to give us some finger guns because this is, after all, Matt and Mike's X-Files CCG. So, finger guns up. boom, boom, boom. And we'll see you guys on the next game.
Awesome. Good night, guys.